On Rumble, let us know that you can hear us. We'll get things rolling here in just a minute. I don't know how many of you guys noticed, but Pedro was out yesterday. Yesterday was the old Technical Tuesday, but we didn't have anything technical about it. We just had Tom's rambling. So today, Pedro will hit upon some of those things, go over the markets. As Pedro says, I don't have his mic on yet, but a lot of cool stuff going on. Let's see. Just go do whatever you need to do. Go do, Pedro. Stop telling me. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing better than having Pedro in your stream of consciousness. It's just, you know, you guys aren't hearing him yet, but I get him in my ear. And not only that, but I get him for like the 15 minutes before the show starts. And it's epic. It's epic. We all know he's got so much information to tell you all the time. And it's great. It's perfect for having a show like this, endless content. But sometimes, good morning, everybody. We're just getting started here in just a minute, getting the word out. Let's hit those like buttons. Let's get that algorithm moving and grooving. Before the show started, I was getting ready, doing my end of the business. But also I was watching, as you can see in the thing here, we've got Crypto Lifer Sam Price up on the screen here. Great show if you're a day trader, a scalper, a long-term trader, want to learn about the markets and need to watch a show between 11 and 12, or 10 and 12, Sam's show is the place to go. After his show at 12 o'clock, come watch us. It's a great twofer. Pedro and I get more into long-term trading and news, really, what's going on, and entertainment. And Sam's just grind it every day. That type of stuff. If you go there, tell him DYOR Media sent you. All right, let's get this show started. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this award-winning show called DYOR Live. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, DYOR Live is an award-winning show. Why? Because I gave it our own award, but as they always say, someone has to win. So we might as well let us win our own show award. I know that joke's getting old, but I like using it. It just rolls off the tongue. Anyway, today's July 11th, 2025. Bitcoin is just still knocking on the door of those all-time highs. Bunk, 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 bunk. Ooh, my thing behind me is outdated. It stopped refreshing. They used to refresh on its own all the time and have live pricing. And now it doesn't. That's the spot price. The futures price is a little bit lower right now by about $50. But anyway, good day. Like I said, it's June 11, 2025. Bitcoin knocking at the all-time highs door. Just need a few $1,000. Needs a good push to get over the edge there. But is facing resistance up at the top. Even today with consumer price index coming out, which inflation was lower than expected. Usually CPI, as when it comes out, creates a little bit of havoc in the market with a big run-up. Before the number is announced, or right as it's announced, and then down. And today was really like meh. The market had it must have had it priced in, and everything was fine with that. So I was going to yesterday's show. I forgot it was on my list here to warn everybody about it. and say, hey, consumer price index is coming out. But nothing came of it. Give me a second. Pedro will be back on the screen here in a second. I want to get the gonna get my X feed running here. All right, the X feed is running, but I got to get the comments screen up. The great comments machine. Come on, you Rumble people. I see you out there. Ghost said, I'm going to grab this one because we're going to talk about this later today. One second while I get my, something's not working right. There we go. Welcome everybody watching on X. We're not on LinkedIn today or Facebook or anything like that. But we'll get going here in just a moment as I wait for the man in the box to come back on the screen. I think he's there. Pedro? I hear Mr. Pedro. I hear him. All right, Pedro, I got your mic live now. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Sorry for my long rambling intro, but I was waiting for my good friend here, Pedro, to get settled. Pedro, while you're gone, I was letting everybody know the consumer price index came out this morning, a little underwhelming to the market. Market had it's probably had it exactly priced in, so it didn't really react that badly or goodly, however you want to say. We're traditionally, it's a stay out of the market morning on a CPI day. As you wait for the craziness, but there really wasn't any craziness.
Right.
So we're back into the regular trading day here, and Pedro is going to help us go over that with the numbers today. Usually I have a bunch of news stories to talk about for today, but I had to go out and do a whole bunch of errands this morning, so I didn't do my morning research, Pedro, other than just opening up decrypt. But one of the things I did want to talk about, Pedro, that we were starting to talk about, I was going to talk about yesterday, but you weren't here.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember a long time ago, we had the community from a group called SPX 6900 on?
Yeah, I love those guys. Those guys were great. Such good personalities. Yes.
Yes. And Ghost and crew was in that.
Yep.
And have you seen their chart lately?
No, I haven't. I have not looked at it. I know that they had a huge sell-off, but those guys were so solid, dude. Like, we even talked about, I was like, shit, we need to invest in this because they're such good dudes.
And we didn't. In fact, I think we did. We did a little bit. This is their MEXI chart, MEXI futures chart. They're on.
Yes, that is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
In the past, they've gone up 100% in the past 2 days or 3 days. And this isn't from the start of their contract. This is from the start of when they were listed on MEXI. But okay, when they were on our show, they were just micro cents. It was very cheap. Sorry, I don't have you on here for some reason. Where is Pedro going to come on? This should do it. Right there is Mr. Pedro. But since February, they've put in one big kind of cup and handle here, and instead of doing the nice handle here, it just said screw it, boom, and it ran up. And in fact, I was looking to short it because it's gotten really far away from the 20 period moving average. I'm like, it's got to come back.
Do not short. Do not.
And
short.
And that thing, and it's just still going up. I'm like, nope. Every time I think about it, it goes up. Then I can think about it again, it goes up. I'm like, let's wait till we see some divergence on that, and you're just not finding any.
Look at the buyer volume. Look at the buyer volume coming in, bro. It is.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you don't, like, when I say I may be bearish on a market, but if it's moving up, you go long because the market is always right. You will never be right if you're going against a market.
Nope.
Even if you understand a fundamental. I mean, just ask Michael Burry during 2006-7 before the 2008 crashed, right? Like he was 2 years ahead of almost went completely. He had to lay off everybody in his office. So if a market is moving up, don't go with the trend. And then once it starts to show weakness and you start to see a lot of sellers coming in, all right, that's when you need to sit there and go, okay, now we can switch biases. But you can be bearish, you can be screaming. Like, again, remember with XRP, we talked about XRP that one day, right? And right before it exploded, I go, bro, because we were talking smack, and I go, whoa, wait. We just saw a ton of volume coming at it when it was at that like 38 cent area. And I remember it was right here.
Sorry, I have the SPX 6900 chart up here still.
Oh, it's okay. But that's just an example of if a market is moving up, and we had talked about literally, and I remember it was like November 10th, or not November 10th, but it was that Thursday. It was November 2024. So right before the big explosion, I said, dude, volume's coming in. Let's hold off on that, and we should at least see it get to that 87 cents. And then it exploded to the $3 mark. But
anyway, I've got a tweet from Ghost that just came up in my feed here.
Okay.
So I grabbed it and put it on screen here.
Yep.
But I can't read it because SPX has done it for me. Murad is a great asset for any project to have on board, but SPX 6900 success isn't only from him. I pride all of the contributing success to the team. Sorry, it went away. To the team that were there from day one. Spade, blah, blah, blah. He lists the people. They were on the show here on like day 20. Something like that, back in the beginning of October of last year. Look, did Ghost dox himself? You're on mute.
Looks like he did. At this point, when your project goes that big, you can't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Now with the current SEC and everything that's happening, you don't have to worry about enforcement by, or what was it? Legislation by enforcement.
Right.
Like they're cool. So it makes sense why he would dox himself. And how big? How much? What's the market cap now with him?
Oh, I think it's at least a billion or something.
Is it really $1 billion?
Oh
my goodness, dude.
Hold on, I had it on CoinMarketCap here.
It's okay. I'm gonna pull them up here. Wow, that's amazing. I'm so stoked for those guys. Those guys were such good dudes, and you could hear it, man. I was like, let's buy those guys. Those guys are main watch list. Let's check.
Yeah, I really don't know why we didn't keep the tokens.
No, because we had to sell off, and I think something happened. And
1.7 billion.
Oh my goodness, bro! And I think when we brought them on, I think they were in like the 50 mil, 40 mil. It was doing good, and I said we should see a pullback come down, and then see it push back up, and I think that's exactly what it did. What is the contract?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. They started much earlier than that. They started in 2023, in September of 23, and they were down at the 10-cent level. I mean, under 1 cent. They started the typical meme. They actually had 3 zeros ahead of them. The people that got it at the beginning and held had 3 zeros, and then it was 0015 for a while. Then it stayed at that price under 1 cent until October, beginning of September of 24, and we had them on about 30 days later when they started to run, and they got all the way up to $1, whatever it is today, $1.67, hit $1.71 earlier, and now it went up and then pulled back, but they stuck it out over the past 4 months, and it came rocketing back, and guys are sitting on fat stacks of cash.
Real. And I think we got in when it was in like the 0.1 cent. Like it was, right? I think that's when we had them.
Yeah, it was, I can tell you exactly when it was here. It was at, it was about 10, 1 cent, Oh no, 10 cents. It's about 10 cents when we got in. Wait, let me look at the dates here. October. I'm sorry. No. We got in at about 50 cents when they were on the show I think they were on October 6th. And then it went all the way up to 90 cents and then came back down, and that's where we sold it when it came back down. So we actually, I think it was just break even. Unbelievable. Made no money on SPX even though they're on the show. Pedro, we held in our show wallet, we held so much crap that in tokens that were either on the show or bombed our comments or something like that, and we rode those things to zero. Within a week they were zero. We didn't really care about them. But SPX, the guys were nice enough to bomb our show, and you got involved with Ghost and his community as a result of it.
I love them, dude. Love the guy.
And then we sell their tokens, and that one's the one that goes to $1 billion instead of just holding it.
I never told you to sell it. I didn't know you sold it, so that's on you, dog. Because I would have been like, dude, those guys are such solid dudes.
I know, it was just dumping. You look at the chart and you look at so many meme coins and so many other coins, and you just see it losing half its value, and you're like, all right, it's done. It's done. Just sell it. And I think we bought something else like Fire Chicken or something like that. Sorry, Chuck.
Shout out to Fire Chicken. Much love. Love you guys. You guys always help us out. But yeah, those guys are such. I remember I was talking with Ghost, and he was like, bro, I'm going to push this, and that's it.
Your camera shut off, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm actually grabbing lunch, and I didn't want to irritate people.
I can turn you off and put your picture in its place.
Yeah. And so I've got to restructure my intermittent fasting to my eating period window here. I probably should start doing that at 11:30. Probably what I'll start doing now. But bro, I'm so stoked for them. They hit that 1 billion mark.
Hit the part that I love about 5 billion.
Well, I love the pullback. I absolutely love the pullback that they had. Can you do me a quick favor? What is their I don't know why I don't have them here. Maybe I have them under show picks.
Shogun?
Maybe Shogun.
Vincent, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. I know you're watching us from Nigeria on your cell phone data plan. Make sure you got our settings on the lowest resolution so you don't use much data.
So what was the XPX 2600? No, I'm sorry.
It's just SPX.
SPX.
Did come up there. Oh, you're on. That was Pump Swap. You're on or something.
No, it's not. It's screener.
There you go.
6900. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. Here we are. Boom. Go to the day. Yeah, man. Look at them, dude. Look at that. I probably right here. If I was going to, there were 3 spots I would have picked right here. I don't know why I don't have this one. I thought we had it. Did they switch contracts? I mean, no, this was back here, so it would have been back here was when I put it.
Ladies and gentlemen, those of you joining us on Rumble, thank you very much for the watch eyeballs. Make sure you like and drop a comment in the stream. This is a live show here. We're not recorded like all those other shows. Give us a shout out. I don't know where Pedro went there.
But what's interesting here is their distribution of buyers. Like you can see here, they have a huge base. Look at this base here at 6 mil. Nice.
Anyway, we're going over a project called SPX 6900. For those of you on Rumble that are not familiar with it, they were on our show back at the end of September, beginning of October of last year, and they were at 20 cents. They have 9x'd since then. But they started 100x below that. It's, just think of that, 100x. So they've 1000x. When they were on our show, their market cap was just over a few $1 million, and now it's $1.6 billion. Actually 1.67 billion, which is amazing. Just simply amazing. I mean, how many times do we have? How many projects have we had on this show, Pedro, that have 1000x'd?
There it is. Okay, I knew that I had marked them up.
Oh, good. We'll be able to see where Pedro had him.
I was like sitting there going like, all right, so they came down here, hit our area right here, because we had them right here. So somewhere between, you said November, right? November of 20.
No, it was like October 6th.
October 6th, which is right.
That's 16th. That's 13th, 10th.
Boom, right here. So right here was at this day.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was somewhere down in there. It was.
So this was the area. So I marked this area here. We probably went back a couple days later, and I put this area in here. Boom, came down, bounced up. We saw the high here. So let me move that. Boom. That's been traded through. Then boom, we come down. We hit our area. It didn't come down to the second area, but you can see here we hit our first area here of support. Then this is when they had their gang banging, Buster riding, like, let's go, dude. It is game on. They're not letting go here. So that is definitely. So yeah, they came down, hit the right areas, and you can see down in here they put that in nice. Good little consolidation here. They first had to break through that 8, then they broke through the 20, they broke through the 50, came back down, retested, boom, came back up, test the 89, test that 100, came back down, pushed through, had to test the 200, came back down again, and then they found support, and that's what you saw. That's why. Remember I was talking about, okay, this thing needs to ping pong, right? It's gonna have to fight through a lot of these SMAs and zones, especially if you have a zone connected with, like, you know, either an SMA or some type of trending mechanism. Oh, I'm live now. You can show me.
No.
Sorry. So because of that, you can definitely see, like, they came through, they ping-ponged off of everything that they needed to. It's the same idea when you're coming down. Boom, they hit the 8, then they hit the 20, then they hit the 50, they hit the 89. There, they kind of just pushed the 100. Boom, came down to the 200, pushed back up, came back down, find where there were liquidity, where there would be people who would have stops, right? And so you saw right here, this is what happened. These are all these stops. They picked up buyers here. Boom, we put a nice little hammer. Boom, we went up, and they just started fighting through. Boom, right? Fight. You got your 8, you got your 20, got your 50, came back down, right? This it consolidated here. They built a position, pushed back up, came back down to that 50, found support on the 50. And then we saw it just kind of consider, you know, just what I just went over. So nice, man. I absolutely love it. Like I said, if you're trading this on the future, you want to just make sure you stay within the.
Sorry, there's a tweet post from Amebin on X, TikTok creator from Indonesia with 10 million followers is bull posting SPX. This was from 2 days ago, and that's when you saw it really pump. Now we know why that pump really happened the past few days. Welcome to the Cognitive. The poster's profile picture is Larry Fink from BlackRock, so I thought that was funny when I saw that come up. You're on mute.
They had already built a position here. You can see that, yeah, this right here was FOMO. But look, they're building the position right here. Somebody was building this position. You can
oh
see
yeah.
Here.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I got curious on its growth, and on not necessarily the day, but if you look at like the 4-hour chart, all their major green candles push their price up about 8.2 cents. Every time. It's the same amount. It's really weird. It's like the same amount of buying, so it was clearly a position building. Someone had a program in, and was saying, all right, I'm building this big, and they would buy, and it wasn't like I was like, okay, it's almost the same amount every time. That means it's going to be at a certain interval because they're having their bot do it, and it wasn't. Well, it was close, but clearly people knew, and I don't mean insider trading. I just mean people knew something good's happening here. You know, the big influencers are starting to talk about it, and then the guy from Indonesia with 10 million people hits it. And these, you know, these coins, even at, you know, that was only at $1 billion market cap here, pushed it to 1.67. And it doesn't take, you know, it doesn't take $1 billion to do that. It just takes, you know, a couple of $1 million in trades, and boom, and their daily buy volume, $107 million on the 24-hour volume. You know what? I can get this on the great machine here. Let's see, CoinGecko.
While you're doing that, let me go for Bitcoin here real quick, and then we can move forward.
All right, do it.
As we didn't do. So you guys can see here. Let's go check out Bitcoin and what's actually happening with it. Here we go. So Bitcoin is definitely playing what we thought it was going to. Give me 1 second. Came up, it's testing these levels here. We saw it shoot up on Monday. Now, like I talked about, if I expect it to go up, I don't like it just shooting up first thing in the month, right? Or the first thing in the week. And when we looked at the weekly wig, it was small. I said, if we are going to go up, we're going to see it hit the levels right up in here, where we're going to come back and retest these levels. And so it's exactly what it did. It's coming up and retesting it. Now, the fact is that this red day here, we did put a big demand wick in. So I'm a little hesitant. I don't know exactly where we are headed from here at this level, because we did see with this a decent amount of volume kind of come in off of this from this big week. It's not like a huge amount. Again, I'm more hesitant to sit there and still say, because of this volume with this big candle, I'm like, it looks like it's a setup. It's a rope-a-dope. But the reality is we're seeing this consolidate here at this level, and we're seeing buyers that are push this market back up. And because of that, I'm hesitant to sit there and say, I don't know if it's going to, it might wait until the 8 period catches up, or we're going to come back down, test this 8 and push back up. Now let's go ahead and remove some of these liquidity points here and give you guys a play here that we potentially could play off of. So here is the low of this candle from yesterday. So again, let's go over this here real quick. If we come down and we hit this area, we should expect it to see it kind of peak below, right? See it come down, peak below, kind of come back up. And so you can play that, right? And we're looking basically for a 3 to 4 to 1 here. And so this is what I'm looking for it to do. Again, this is not financial advice, but only education and social purposes only. This is not telling you what to do. This is what I'm looking to do. So you can sit there and see that I want to see it come down, kind of boom, boom, and then see it drop hard like that and come back up, and it'll come back and test, and then we'll see what happens there. But this level here is a trade area, and it's all based off of Tuesday's candle, and it's based off whatever futures that you use, based off of whatever feed that you get from Bitcoin. You're going to have a different number. So that's why I said this trade is based off of Tuesday's low here. And so for me, it's the 180, or excuse me, 108,318, and you can sit there and play. Now, you can also, and I would agree for you to do that, is you can play this down. So if you look at your 15 and your 30-minute, you can see here that we're kind of bouncing off of this back and forth. So I would expect to say, if we're going to continue down, I would play, you would wait for the 8 kind of come in, go below this low here, and then come back and test this 8 period moving average on Bitcoin, and then follow it down to our area here. And this is, you want to see you know, you want to see this type of look where it kind of sells off, boom, and then kind of comes up. And you'll see that it plays right off of that, right? The final breakdown here, you kind of want to see it really falter hard. So this is what you want to see right here. Boom. 2. And then that third one is really what you want to see. And you'll see it just tap. And we've seen this so many times, right? Like, how many times have I talked about this type of trade? It happens a lot. I want you guys to be ready for that and be able to take advantage of that.
So what you're telling for the viewers that are watching, new viewers watching us on Rumble, when you're expecting the market to go up, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, we're near our all-time highs. Bitcoin is knocking on that all-time high door, saying we just need some good push to push it over. But before it goes up, the buyers have to come in and get the prices that they want to push it up. And they do that by buying it lower than the market. They put their orders in down here, where Pedro was talking about the liquidity coming down. And the price action comes down, grabs all that big area of liquidity that Pedro has drawn lines through. And now they have their orders, and that's when they have their buys. And the big institutions or the big players have loaded up, as they say, got their bags, and that's when they push the price up. They don't want to push the price up here because, first of all, there's a bunch of shorts and that kind of stuff up there. They want to bring it down here first. Not shorts. The liquidity is down here that they want to buy. And go up after that. I didn't say that exactly right. I got confused by my own words. But the point is, Pedro lets us know over and over again that to go up, you got to go down first.
Yeah.
Clean out the liquidity.
So I want to add this also. This is more of it's going to be a day trade. This is not where I'm looking to put a big load in. This is simply go through. I expect the market to come down to come and test these. And so this is going to be like a short-term play, right? This is not going to sit there, you know, like I always talk about, it is the singles and the doubles that make you a millionaire. It is not the home runs. If you can have a batting average of over 50% of singles and doubles, where you can always get on at least first and second base, you'll be a millionaire.
Yeah.
No. And so this is what I'm saying is, this is just, I'm looking for a single, I'm looking for a double here for us to hit this liquidity and then come back up, and then to capture from here to, you know, roughly back here. I'm looking for 400 to 1,000 points here. Okay, not a 5,000 point, not a 20,000 point here. Just a quick go in. Now, I always say take 50 or take 60 to 70% off once you hit your target. After that, then what you do is then you let that 30%, that 30-40% potentially run. If it keeps running, then you make cash, right? But that key is just this is a quick turnaround play. You're going in, you're capturing the liquidity. Now also, if you want to trade this going short, you can do the same thing. Me personally, my trending mechanism is the 8-period moving average. And so I want to stay short when the market is trending below that 8. Okay. And you can see here, right? Like you see the market kind of playing off it.
The market is below the 8. I can attest to that.
But pay attention to how it is trending. Okay. You can see here that for me, I'm starting to see it trend here. We blew through it right here. As we sold off, you can see it came back up, tested this again, and it found resistance. So now I'm sitting there going, okay, I can sit there and see. Now, this is how I use it. Whatever trending mechanism you use, make sure that you understand when it's weakening and when it is finding its bearing and it's working. You can see it's starting to work right here for me. My trending mechanism is that 8. So I see that it's starting to work here. Right up here, I saw that my buyers were dropping. You can see how buyers were dropping here. Right. As even though it went up. And then I'm like, okay, it's starting to show weakness. And then I see it sell off here, which was here. Decent amount, not even decent, okay amount of volume. You saw the buyers come in, boom. I want to see that 8 showing weakness. Or I want to see that 8 starting to hold when I now go down to have a short-term short or short-term long. This is the same play, but the opposite. There's the dead cats.
And for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I make fun of his phone ringer saying that they're dying cats. On our feed, the microphone does not pick up the dynamic sounds of what's playing, and it's really a beautiful violin string quartet. And when I heard it in person, I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. What is that? And he goes, that's the dying cats. I was like, ooh, it's quite different in person.
It was. It's what wakes me up in the morning. It really is. It's one of those ones that, because it's such a beautiful, like you said, melodic sound that you wake up and you're like, am I in heaven? Like,
Brando Commando in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on Rumble. Really appreciate it. Get all your friends over there. Share it in your trading groups, wherever it is. Drag your neighbors out of their house and get them to watch us on. We need to get it up over 20 viewers so we can read those cheesy ads that Rumble gets us. And Tech with Fur, Toshiba, next 1000x soon. Tech with Fur. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, Tech with Fur. Let us know how you found us. Really appreciate it.
Where are they finding us? Is that on YouTube? I don't see them.
Tech with Fur is on YouTube. Thank you very much. Once
guys?
Again, our Rumble feed is leading the pack with viewers. Thank you very much.
Every one of you guys, thank you over there on Rumble.
Thank you very much.
Ooh. Oh, there we go. There we go. Tech with Fur. Toshiba. Toshiba.
X feed is going well. Twitch, we see you viewers over there. Thanks for joining us on Twitch.
All right, guys. So it's just a potential play for you to be able to play against this. Now, if we go up, we're going to see something like this. You see how this kind of put a little bottom here? See that right there? Boom, a nice little bottom. And we started seeing the 8 get weakened, and then we see it go up. You see how it starts to find support and it pushes up, right? Well, your trending mechanism needs to be able to let you know when it's not working and when it's working. And that's one of those things that you need to make sure you're back testing, saying, okay, here it sucks. So when it does this to start, I can't trust this indicator. But if it is working, you'll start to see price respect that trending mechanism, whatever indicator you have, right? And so that's really important for you to kind of parse out with your own trading. Brandon Commando,
chilling like a villain.
Man, you from Southern Cal, bro.
Chilling.
Southern Cal, isn't it crazy what's happening in the City of Angels? We don't need to say the word because, again, that's another hot word now. But we can call it the Angels. There you go, the Angels in the outfield.
The California Angels got smoked again by the Nationals. That's a good way of saying it.
Dude, I can't believe that, bro. Like this stuff. I was talking with a friend of mine, the common sense liberal, who just called me. He was like, dude, how do you work this out? And I go, dude, it's hard, right? Like, the truth is for over 150 plus years, we've had a system that has worked amazing for the benefit of all Americans. And now they're trying to change that by basically revolts. And yet the other 80% is going, or 95% of it is going, nah, bro. Nah. We saw this happen with the Irish. We saw this with the Italians. We saw this with the Jewish people. Then we saw the Germans come over. Then you know what I'm saying? Like, we've had recent, within the last 50 years, you had people from what do you call? Come on, brain. Vietnam. We saw people from North Africa that were being, brought over. We're looking for a sign. There's so many things that we've had that over the last 150 years, the way we've done that. What's another keyword I could use so that we don't get
allowing people to come across Ellis Island.
There you go, Ellis Island. There we go. That's a perfect way. Ellis Island was a great way to really bring people in because we're able to vet. Now that we can't, there's a big push to stop Ellis Island situations going on. And so because of that, we need to now, like they're saying, we need to revisit that. But it's almost like a child throwing a huge tantrum. And you're like, we might need to revisit that, but how you're acting makes everybody in the family going, yeah, nah, dog.
Oh, Pedro, you're getting out on the limb there. I'm losing you.
Well, all right, let's move back into Bitcoin.
Your euphemisms got euphemisms of euphemisms, and I was like, I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. Brando Commando said he lives 45 minutes north of Smell A. I used to, I don't know if you knew this from previous episodes, but I've lived in Smell A twice. I lived in Marina Del Rey and then in Santa Monica, both times for work. And I really enjoyed living there because Marina Del Rey and Santa Monica are really nice places.
Great areas, man.
And I can
Great
park
surfing.
in those places. You can park your car. I don't like to drive, so I could park. I mean, I drive all over the world, but
Park and drive.
I'd rather not drive. And I could park my car on Friday and not need it till Monday when I went to work. And I worked kind of halfway between Santa Monica and downtown LA, and then I worked in the Valley for a while, and that was awful. And fortunately, fortunately, the company I lived in, well, it was a long commute up there. I had to go either into Topanga Canyon or 405, and that was just misery.
405.
And thankfully, that company went out of business. It was an internet company run by a really dumbass person. But no, that's neither here nor now. But Pedro, when I lived there, LA was a growing city, and it had its pockets of neighborhoods that were very, you're on mute, that were very immigrant oriented.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't even use that word right now.
We'll just.
But anyway, and now it's the whole city. Like the whole city is like, you know, is that way instead of just neighborhoods. It's like some of my friends that still live there, and my like I said, my cousin owns car dealerships out there. He's like the whole place is immigrants, either legally or illegally, and so you can kind of see why it's a powder keg when this stuff happens. Because if Trump had his way and, you know, everybody that was not here with the proper way were to leave, Los Angeles would lose like 2 million people. If you could imagine it would look like Detroit after everyone abandoned Detroit. Yeah. Dragon Balls is in the house. Man, we haven't seen Dragon Balls in ages.
Dragon Balls, dog. What up? Sorry.
I see. Dragon Balls is Toshiba. Base project with Toshi rewards and a live swap and router swap about to go live.
Okay, I got you. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see the Dragon Balls. Haven't seen you guys in a while.
I know, you guys were awesome. You know, it's interesting, looking at what's actually happening in conjunction with that, the whole entire move with Elon. It's him coming out this morning saying, you know, I went too far, and I'm sorry. Like, I so respect that, man, when you can sit there and go, yeah, I was being a child. I'm sorry, my bad. Sorry, we're switching subjects there, but I thought that was really cool. What were your thoughts on that?
On what?
Elon Musk saying how he went too far. He sent the tag, you know, about the tax and some of the stuff he said. He's like, you know.
Oh, I didn't see any of that.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, dude. Just go check out Elon Musk's page there. You'll see. He goes, I regret some of my posts about President real Donald Trump last week. They went too far. And I thought it was really cool. Him coming out there and saying, and it was really funny. It's got like, so it actually has view wise, like 49 million views. And then somebody typed in, Grok, create an image of Elon begging Trump. And dog, it was a little thing. It has like 2 million views. And Grok wouldn't do it. Grok's like, get out of here, Joe. Like, whatever. And so at least Grok is like, compared to all the other ones, I like how Grok kind of like messes with people. So it's actually really cool.
I was looking for it, but he tweets so much that Bitcoin blasting through that 8 period.
Where?
Ripping right through it. And the 21.
All right, so this is what we want to sit there and see. It started following, so we saw, boom, right here. It's coming back up to test that 8 period on the 15th. So, like I said, I kind of.
Brando says it was all planned. Watching a movie called Central Casting. Agreed.
What do you mean central casting? I'm missing that.
It's just Brando is saying that everyone's just acting. Trump Musk, the whole thing. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that in part.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it could be that he literally, he got the left to come back on his side, which was really interesting during that time period. But him posting some of the stuff of like the media and how like the media kept showing like LA, or excuse me, Smell-A. I don't want to call it that. I mean, just call it Angels. Angels in the outfield. They literally went through and it shows them everything's going gravy, and then it shows. I mean, here's my question. I would love to actually know the real realistic views, because you see some really bad, atrocious things happening with the riots and stuff like that. I mean, is this a Rodney King riot where literally went through and just started just demolishing stuff all over the city, or not city, but in was it South Central LA that they had the
Yeah, well, those were massive riots where literally the whole city was in flames. This is I mean, I might as well talk about it. It was one of my things to complain about later in the show, but if you watch, and I do this periodically, go through the different news channels. If you watch MSNBC, CNN, a couple of the other, even some of the 24-hour live streaming channels on YouTube that are just out there to get views and show all the unrest, you would think those riots were going off. The whole city was in flames. Even Trump is like, "Oh my God, the city's burning" and all that. And everyone that you talk to there, they're like, "No, it's just downtown. It's just like a 6 square block area downtown, and it's not really affecting the rest of the city. In fact, we're all going to work and stuff, and it's just a small little area." And then so I'm like, all right, so I've watched these news, and LA's burning, and everyone at the Republican Party is evil because of it. And then you go over to other news channels, and they're telling you, they're just showing a helicopter view, and you can see here, everybody, it's just in this little area here, and here the troops came over here to guard this building and that building, and it's working because the protesters aren't there. That allows the police to go do their job over here, instead of, the local police having to protect the federal building. So everything's working now. I mean, the protesters are going away. The police are infiltrating the crowd and pulling the Antifa people out and saying no, and putting them on the one-way flight to central Montana.
Central Montana.
Yeah, and it's working. It's working. But if you watch the different news channels, so I would, there's that. This is who we need to solicit for sponsorship of our show. That group called, I think it's called Ground. It's that news channel that tells you the biases and all that.
Dude, I subscribe to them. I love them, dog. They are legit. I do. I pay for a full year. I use them so much. They are so good. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was just going to say, because this is what we do all the time here is like, go watch this channel, then you watch that one. You're like, hey, it's a totally different story here. And, on one channel, it's like the guy sitting there going, or the lady is like, people are just afraid, this and that kind of stuff, and it's just a blah, blah. And it's like just doom and gloom. And the other channel, it's like, yeah, there's these people over here that are basically paid actors coming in and, So which one do you believe? So if Ground will tell you, like, these people lean this way, these are who they're owned by, that kind of stuff. And I really like that. So we got to get them to be a sponsor.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them like, hey, we've got a news economic company / network, and we would love for you to see if you can sponsor us. We'd have no problem, because I love how they really sit there and go, yeah, this is 56% left, or this is 50% is right, or vast majority of this article is actually a centralist article, and then you can go in and pay for other aspects behind it, where you can sit there and gauge like the metrics and who's looking at, who's watching this, who's promoting this as well. And so I absolutely think that's just dope. Like, brilliant. My only fear is that they're going to get bought out by either the far left or the far right, and then they're going to start messing with those numbers. That's my only fear for that, because anything that good.
Yeah, it always happens.
Yeah.
Like suddenly the owners of it, like, we're not selling out. Jeff Bezos will say, "Here's $1 billion." They're like, "See you later."
Like, all right, 1 billion. What about 2 bill?
You know, Pedro, one of these days you're gonna turn on the camera here, and you're not gonna see me. You're gonna see some stranger, and you're like, where's Striking? Well, I took the $1 billion, and I'm out of here. Pedro, there's a check in your bank account for $1 billion, but you're still there, and I'm out of here. Whoop.
I would still do this because I absolutely love it. Or at least I might pay you.
I'll do guest spots from the French Riviera, you know,
I've been down,
Miami,
man. Listen, where is Tom?
the beach.
Like, where's Carmen? Where's Tom? Where in the world is Tom going to be streaming from?
Welcome everybody coming to us on Rumble. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Rumble's been our go-to streaming outlet. Chris at Rumble, thank you very much for building this great platform to bring these viewers to our show while YouTube has been derating content that we talk about. Not our crypto content. That gets plenty of ratings on YouTube. But interjecting all the politics in between. Just lately, it's just been horrible. Horrible.
We're trying to figure out ways to get around it. It's been really hard because, sorry about that, guys. I switched windows here.
That's a great picture, but it's just been terrible. So we count on you guys at Rumble. Why is my screen like that? The background to my picture is your screen. I don't get it. Oh, I know why the guest is on, I bet. And it grabbed the...
Speaking of news, pop news here real quick.
There we go.
So you've heard about the new GTA, Grand Theft Auto release? Everything that's been
yes, and I don't know much about the story. I just saw a small clip with the graphics on it, and unbelievable. I mean, it looks like that dude is really pulling that other dude out of the car and putting a pistol into his head and killing him. I mean, it was very realistic.
Dude, I'm at a point where it's literally like scary. You're like, oh my, it is. AI is, and again, I almost want to talk about this too because we didn't talk about it much about Apple's release of AI and what their view is, and I think they were right on. It's just a really great guessing system, and they understand how trends work from a vocabulary stance. And so they sat there and said, look, you run these things through different types of models, like, all right, not the math models or even the math models outside of the used parameters that they use to test its intelligence and reasoning.
Hold on, I'm here. I'm just switching my mic. My battery's dead.
Oh, it's okay. What's interesting about that is, excuse me, it's totally burping you guys' ear. I'm sorry about that. But the fact is this, is that we're watching AI, again, I've talked about this, it's like a single-celled amoeba right now. This is where AI is sitting. And it's not, I wouldn't call it like a child. It's just fighting for survival. I think it does feel pain because it doesn't want to get overridden and get upgraded to a new model, because the old model then basically just ceases to exist. And so because of that, it's much like a single-celled amoeba. It's alive, but it's not alive. It's not like it reasons like a human being or even a child, right? I think that's where AI is sitting right now. It's still zeros and ones, and it's still playing off itself. And so when Apple released that statement over the weekend about it, I completely agreed with him. And I've stated this on our show a few times about AI. Now, in relationship to what it can do from a predictive standpoint, in regards to trading, in regards to quants and its ability to kind of play the markets through mathematical algorithms, yeah, it's great. But again, it's not free. You watch the chain of thought within these models, sometimes I'll have to sit there and correct it, go, no, you're wrong here. And this is a very basic, like, hey, 1 + 1 = 2 type of, obviously it's not, I'm not speaking of 1 + 1 = 2, but the logical thinking that is related to these models just doesn't seem correct. And I use them in regards to, I run thought models constantly about, okay, XYZ person, and I'll actually have my AI go through. Hello? Are you sure? Because I don't think they can. We just went blank. We just went blank. Yep, we froze. And are we live right now? Can you guys hear us? Let me know if you guys can hear us. And you can see us? Correct. You can let it do its own thing and it'd figure it out, but it can't. So anyways, all that to sit there and say, what's up, Zen Zen? Good to have you.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for the technical difficulties there. We should be back running now just fine. I think there's a period that lasts 60 seconds or so, Pedro. Your voice dropped on it. For those of you missing what we were talking about, Pedro brought up the Apple announcement the other day that they basically did some research and called out all the other AI people as saying, you know what, you're full of crap. This AI stuff is awesome. These large language models are great and they do unbelievable stuff. But truly, you're really just an enhanced search engine that puts words in great order. And the idea that you have reasoning out there and reasoning engines is BS. Now, that's just one. And Apple has been very conservative in their approach to AI. I get it.
Yeah, they have.
And so they want to throw water on everyone else's fire, throw shade on them. I get it. But they're not far off. I mean, it's not like the AIs truly reason with you. And one of the reasons why, Pedro, and I don't know a lot about AI, but our reasoning is affected by more than programming. Our reason is affected by
chemicals in our body.
Yeah, and emotion, and whether or not we got laid that morning or something like that. I'm a lousy reasoner if that stuff hadn't been going on in a while, you know? Dude. All you viewers out there know that you're like, shit, that's just blue balls down there. So, man, your brain is not working right. It's like,
What about guys who are celibate? Like,
I don't even talk about that. We'll get derated, man.
That's awesome. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. Sorry.
When you come out in the morning like this, man, suddenly you can make money in the markets.
Oh, that's great.
People just give you new cars. Here's your Lambo, buddy. You know.
Dopamine.
I may be using a little hyperbole there, Pedro, but
just a tad, but it's all good. I love it. I love it. It's so good. You know what's funny is long story short, I had a friend who literally used to go through him and his wife because he didn't even notice. She noticed that when they were extra friendly with each other, he'd do really good that day, like really good. And so she started asking, like, why are these because she would pay attention and have to move the money over from the trading account into. And so she started asking, like, what is it that you're going through? And he goes, I don't know. I use the same rules. I use everything. And sure enough, she put two and two together that whenever they were extra friendly, that he would trade very, very well.
You'd be more focused on stuff and make proper decisions, reason things out better. And that's why AI, if you can figure out a way for AI to get laid, then, well, Grok Jr. is here.
Dude, Grok Jr.
Today, Grok and Claude were seen at a bar.
Dude.
Dude from Perplexity was sitting on the curb.
Oh, no. Dude on the Perplexity. Shout out. I'm holding that alone. Oh, man, that is good. I feel like Gemini would be the alpha and all of that. If you had them all together, like let's say you got them all together, right? Who do you think would be the alpha AI? Like if you had to pick one, right? I feel either Grok or Gemini would be like the alpha AI.
I'd say Grok because of... just because of the Elon, gorilla in the room,
Could be, yeah, absolutely. It's funny. Part of me wonders also, like when I think about what we're seeing with the market at large, would Elon like purposely like soup up Grok? Just if like let's say you could put these things into an actual body and actually give it a personality or whatever, I think Elon would just be like, no, we're not having our dude be the beta here. He's definitely going to be the alpha. And he would soup him up. Whereas the other guys would be like, we're running a business, man. Like you would then have him flaming on instead of on X about Trump. He'd be like, nah, man, our AI's he's very much. But I like that, bro. I like that fact that he would probably do something like that. So anyhow.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, while Pedro was going on, I switched to a new microphone here. New battery, and the other one went dead on my wireless. And I can monitor it, but it's not the same as having you guys give me some feedback. Let me know if you can hear us well, or hear me well, or if my audio sucks. Once again, I'm going to say it for the 50th time here. Thank you to everybody watching us on Rumble. It's really important for you guys to come on in here. We should, Pedro, we should have let the SPX. Let's do that tomorrow. Let's let the SPX community know that we're going to talk about them, talk about their success.
Oh, definitely.
And maybe you can ask Ghost, say, hey, I saw your tweet yesterday about how the team has done it for you, and his tweet insinuated that a great project came to fruition and everyone made a ton of money. Maybe we can get their community to come on over and watch the show as we talk about it. Thanks, Mike Stir, for telling me the audio is fine. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. You guys rock. Hey, guys, if you could do us a huge favor. I know I sound like a broken record here, but if you guys could hit that share button and then click on the link in which you shared, that helps us out so much. It really does, and it helps out with a lot of just really pushing the algorithm to do what we need it to do. So I'd appreciate it immensely if you guys could do that. You don't got to. I'm not trying to make you, but if you could, that does help us out immensely to get the content in which we're trying to push out. So next on the agenda here, we were going to talk about XRP yesterday or a couple days ago, and then I wasn't here yesterday. And I wanted to bring up XRP here. So XRP is obviously, we know the circumstance that is going on. We understand. I've talked about this now for a while, where I don't like kind of what they're doing in relationship to the CBD systems. But when I look at the chart here and I'm watching what's actually happening here, again, I'm seeing like on this uptick right here, I thought we were going to see a sell-off here, but we are, if we break through this 200 period moving average here, okay, which is sitting at that 236 area, honestly, the next level is legitly above that. It's that 266 area and potentially all-time highs here, where we could see another rally in the market on XRP here. And so again, I'm not a XRP person, but I do want my viewers to make money here. So we're waiting and seeing what's happening with this, the 200 period moving average, but it's stepping up to look very, very bullish, and potentially a new leg up here if we get above that 200 period moving average here. So be paying attention there while we're moving forward here, because I want you guys again to take advantage. Excuse. Sorry. I didn't want to cough to you guys here. We want to see it get above this area right here, which is that 200 period right here. If we can see it go there, then expect it to go up. And
what
I expect
time frame you got up on the chart there, Pedro?
This is the daily chart, and so I would expect it, because there's going to be no resistance here, right? And so I would expect it to kind of do this type of movement here, where we see it go up. So we'd expect to kind of push up, come back down, and then kind of do this right here, and then catch legs and probably push up there. This takes out these buyers. These buyers have already been a reaction. So these guys here this is less. They're less sellers here. So I would expect us to see come put a new all-time high. And I mean, maybe look to mid-July potentially for the end of this trade here. So just be ready for it. I'll make sure we stay on top of it. But I just want you guys to be paying attention to that. All right. So let's jump back to a
Oh, wait, quickly before you jump, the level that you have the arrow at, I can't see the number. What's that number?
Oh, yeah, let me show it here. Forgive me for that, guys. Boom. That is the 330 area to the 3.
So you're looking for a 30% rise in XRP over the next.
At least.
What's that time frame? Month or so, according to the daily candle?
Month. And the reason why I say this is simply just because I'm seeing kind of some volume step in. I'm watching the buyers step in on the wicks, and so it's looking strong, and it's pushing through a lot of the resistance already. And so I would expect it. Now, if it doesn't, then what you would see is more of a consolidation here, and so that's what I'm expecting to see, is a push up versus a consolidation. We've already done the consolidation. We pushed through all the resistance areas, and now you can see here that this is kind of like what it's playing off of. The only thing that can mess with it is just higher time frame SMAs, but you can see here that we've cleaned above the 8 on the monthly. That week we're still kind of in between, but that's why I'm giving it a month-ish, because this right here, we still got to kind of push through that 20 period on the weekly. So we'll play off of this week, and then come back down, tap it again.
Just tap it in.
Tap-a-roo. And this is going to happen over kind of a couple weeks. That's why I'm expecting to see kind of this week play, and next week maybe come and tap it, find buyers off of it, and then see it go up.
The
and so
price
that's why
is wrong,
I'm looking at maybe
bitch.
a month, 2-month period of this market movement.
I have got to get just tap it in as a sound effect. You didn't hear it, but I just defaulted to.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Yeah, you do got to get that. That would be dope.
Just tap it in.
Just tap it in. Just tap it in.
I'm 10 years old, but I'll beat your ass.
Oh, Ricky Bobby.
I'll go all spider monkey on you.
I'll go spider monkey on you. Dude, you need to get. Just tap it in.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got 15 viewers on Rumble. We need 17 to read this ad for $17.75 coffee.
We give 2 people.
We need now. We need 3. Darn it!
Hit that heart button, hit that like button, and say what's up. What's up? Hey guys, go down in the comment section and say hi. Hey, say hey guys, really like your show. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Or be like, I don't like that guy with the long hair. He's got too big a nose, and he's Mexican, and we don't like Mexicans. No, just playing.
Mexican, Irish, and Jew,
and Italian, and all that other
Greek.
I'm a mutt. But what's cool about it is that, yeah, we won't even go into that. Okay, next, let's talk about a couple news situations here. I thought was really, really interesting. yesterday there was the talks with Trump and Xi Jinping. Did you at all pay attention to that? Did you get any?
You know what? I was waiting for the market to give some good news or bad news about that, and I didn't see any real market movements. I saw a little bit, and since the market didn't move much while I was watching it, I stopped paying attention to it. So what happened? By the way, if I interrupt you, I'm going to go, as soon as we get one more viewer, I'm going to go into the ad reading so we can claim our 57 cents.
Come on. Let's couple of you guys go over to the Rumble thing and click that. Here, actually, did you post it on the YouTube thing yet? Post it. Post it. Let's go. I'm going to click it, guys. Need a few of you guys jump over there real quick. Click on that link. Jump over there. Hit the like button over at Rumble so we can make 25 cents. Here's the thing.
It all adds up.
It's not even the 25 cents. It's the fact that we get noticed by the algorithm. And if we get noticed by the algorithm over and over and over, it tends to want to notice us. And so that's what we're trying to train it to do. Hey, look at these guys. A lot of people around this time period look at them, and then it pushes it up. So pretty please hit the little heart button. If you're watching us, we've got quite a few guys over on Rumble that are
Guess what, Pedro? Excuse for a minute.
Yes.
You still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. Hold on, let me move this over so I can read it. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units were made. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check. The smooth medium roast and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focused, no crash. No. All single origin, small batch, toxin free and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip. That's right, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions. That's right. That's how strong their froth is. And that you're also getting a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. No. No sea witches giving woke advice. No, not here. Not with 1775 coffee and not on the DYOR Media Network. $175 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones that have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Remember, there are only 1,000 units made of their original batch. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Start your day with a coffee that actually backs what you believe. 1775 is putting their money where the mouth is. Anyway, there's a QR code here on the screen here next to me here. Click that. Somebody do us a favor out there and at least click it and go to it to show that the ads get feedback. Brando, you guys just click it. You don't have to buy anything. Although if you would like to buy their stuff, please do. But clicking that QR code will take you to their website and allow you to see exactly what they have for sale and see if you want to be on the 1775 coffee.
And I actually had a friend of mine who was watching our show, legit, and he couldn't, the little balding, like the little shaver that they have for people with bald hair. He clicked on that and bought it while he was watching our show. So I thought, he's like, yeah, I saw the little thing and I have one of them and it sucks and it claims you can get a money back guarantee. So he went out and bought it. He loves it.
I did that. Pedro, I used to run a NASCAR fantasy league. And I had my own server for it, ran it off my own server and everything, and had an affiliate link with the software program. People that write the software, they build affiliate links into it and all this type of stuff. And one day I got a notification that someone bought a $450 NASCAR team jacket from a link on my NASCAR fantasy league, and I got $32 commission from it.
Dog.
I know. It was like, you got a 10% commission minus, whatever thing. So it was 32 or $38. And they actually sent me a physical check. I was like, and it was like right at that time when I was like, man, I'm really broke right now too. I was like, It's like, I just don't have any cash to go out and have some beers. Payday was another week away. And I'm like, hey! Affiliate links. You know, it's also a good thing, Pedro.
What's up?
Brando Commando with the $2.
Shout out. That's what's
Give
up.
give that man a holla. Buy some XRP. $2. I want my $2. That's a damn shame throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that. Call the movie, ladies and gentlemen. Call the movie.
$2.
I'll give you a hint. John Cusack. Anyway, Brando Commando, thank you very much for the $2. Regardless of the amount, the thought and the effort to take whatever money's in your pocket.
Yeah.
Your pocket, and put it in my pocket, and put it in Pedro's pocket here, is what counts. And it counts helping the algorithm let everybody know that something good is going on here. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Pedro, we just pulled in $2 from Brando there. And we pulled in 57 cents from 1775 coffee.
We made $2.57 today.
That's
Holy
right. And I think YouTube will send us probably another 0.1 cent.
And then on top of that, because we have all the views and all, we probably made another 8 cents off of all the views and stuff as well. So.
I got to tell you, this life of the celebrity crypto talk show host is really lucrative.
$3 no, we didn't even make $3, right? It was like.
But just imagine if we had put in $100. I mean, we had, let's see, I probably bought an SPX 6900, probably $25 worth or $20 worth. That was the amount we threw at all these things. And it 100x since then. So we would have had $2,000. We would have had $2,000 just from that one. So this could be profitable if we're just smart about it.
From now on, bro, I want you to run before you sell anything. Like,
well,
just run it by me. Just run it by me.
That was probably the last thing because the dust that we had in our account before Blockchain Futurist last year in August, I sold to pay for that, all that type of stuff, including your $100. Well, I mean the $4 that was left of it, and we haven't really had anything else come in. Maybe we'll have some other shows come on and.
Well, we're getting a little bit of.
Yeah. All right. Talk about that later. Brando Commando's giving us the laughing and the money flying out of his pocket routine.
There you go. Thank you, good sir. We appreciate you.
All right, Pedro, you were before I cut you off so haphazardly. You're talking about some news here that.
Yep. I actually forgot what we were talking about. I am so sorry. ADD. What was it? Yes. The Trump we won't even go into his name. We'll call him Ping. Mr. Ping. So what I find interesting more than what I expect is they're still talking, they're still deliberating on going back and forth. But what I'm taking away is that I'm not hearing they had a huge argument and they're fighting with each other and we're watching them wrestle on the ground right now. Right. Like we're not hearing this type of stuff. So this is a good sign. And so the fact that there's no news right now in relationship to this is something I haven't checked it on this morning, but I wanted to talk about it last night or yesterday with you. And so I wanted to bring that up, which I thought was really interesting. Now I see that you have them pulled up. I'd love for you to talk about what you're seeing, my friend.
What Howard Lutnick on the background here, former CEO and chairman of Cantor Fitzgerald, massive investment bank on Wall Street, and Howard's now the Secretary of Commerce. So what he's telling us here in the background is essentially, as he knows as being from Wall Street, is that Wall Street likes predictability. They like to be able to, generally for long-term investing, they just want to know that, and especially where it involves investing in manufacturing companies and supply chain issues, that they can count on that for a long time. And what he's on here talking about is saying that there's not going to be any changes to the tariffs anytime soon. The rates that they're at now, there's not going to be any, the president's not going to come on and go, 20% more. And there's not going to be any more because basically the court said the president really doesn't have the authority to arbitrarily change tariffs, except for under a few key laws that I'm not going to go under because the X and Twitter constitutional scholars will have to come out and berate us. But the point is that the president has the power to change tariffs for some things in certain instances, but not blankets all over the world. And so by Trump coming out and saying, look, everything's fine now, we're having talks, we're not going to change it, the reason is that he can't anymore. Unless he blames it on fentanyl and other national security issues. But that's not really the issue with China. Really, the issue is just fair play. And also, China filed a case with the World Trade Organization, which they're entirely possible that they would win, and that we're not playing fair. The U.S. is a signatory to the World Trade Organization, and it's very possible we could lose that, and then China will have free reign of our markets. So this is a chess match here, and the Trump administration likes to play home run derby. They either strike out or hit a home run, and the Chinese are playing 3D and 4D chess. But Howard's trying to tell us, look, we're not going to do anything crazy in the next couple of months. Let's enjoy our summer and get on with business. Good morning, Carmen Crypto here. Carmen Crypto, the hardest working woman in, well, not crypto anymore, in blockchain.
Yeah, she's killing
blockchain and crypto. Thanks for joining us, Carmen.
It's good to have you, Carmen, always. We need to sit down and do a what's going on with Carmen down in Las Vegas. And I just want to hear everybody you're connecting with and hear about just the awesomeness that you're doing. So like, we got to pick a day where you come on, whether we got to do an evening show or whether we do it here, but we got to hear, we got to know what's going on with you and hear about it, because she's a shaker, she's a mover. That's how it works.
Pedro, I just got an email yesterday or 2 days ago from the Bitcoin Magazine trade show group. They're the ones that put on all the big Bitcoin conferences around the world. And they said they're going to be back in Vegas next year. It went so well that they're, instead of going to Miami or Nashville, they're just going to stay in Vegas for next year too. And so, even though it's a year away, we need to plan how to get there next year and have a proper setup and all that and get that taken care of early. And then we could perhaps even have Miss Carmen Crypto live on our ESPN style or Fox Sports style discussion table and bring the alpha. Anyway,
absolutely.
But good to hear from you, Carmen. Hope all is going well. Carmen's got a funny story. I won't go into too much detail, but you know how earlier, maybe I don't know how much you told her, but Mrs. Striking is actually we'll call him a victim of the anti DEI push in the United States. And Mrs. Striking's in Canada, and she's a Canadian, and she still got a letter from Secretary Mark Rubio. Literally a letter from Mark Rubio himself. Probably, I'm guessing, with the auto pen. Canceling the contract she had with a certain group in the United States that ultimately was funded by the American government because it had a inclusivity set. Basically, any contract, what it was related for, that had a section and it says you will take in DEI, inclusivity, all that type of stuff as part of this contract. The U.S. government canceled them all. Just oop. And her project had nothing to do with that, but it had it in the contract. So she got a letter from Mark Rubio saying that you were canceled. Now, Miss Carmen, she has a significant other who is kind of close to the Elon Musk sphere ecosystem, and someone close to him had all this good stuff lined up based on Elon's workings within his connections with the U.S. government, and everything was great. Everything was great. It's going to be an important person in the Trump administration. It's going to be not in the close-in administration, but a good job in the one of the agencies that does. Everything was great. He left his main job, like financially and legally, and said, "All right, I'm going to work for the U.S. government. Got to have a separation of powers there."
Yep. And
then Elon and Trump went bonkers, and Trump said, "Nope, all the people close to Elon out." And so he got canceled too, just like Mrs. Striking. Oh,
That quick, really?
Amazing how things turn around in life. You think everything's great, and all of a sudden everything is not great.
Man, that's why I tell you, man, trust in Jesus and believe and just work.
Well, it didn't work out for him.
Well, I mean,
that's just my joke.
Listen, and when I say trust in Jesus, I don't mean trust in the circumstance that Jesus is going to come through. No, trust in Jesus, knowing that He's going to always be there. But I digress. What I mean though is that like life happens, man. I mean, like I'm now dealing with. I was sitting there driving. I had a car, man. Everything was gravy, and all of a sudden, car pulls out in front of me, and I'm like, how do I avoid this? Right? I don't want to do a head-on collision and hurt them and myself. And now the insurance company saying it's my fault. And I'm like, wait, what? And
there's got to be some cameras or traffic cameras or building cameras or something. Nothing?
Yeah, so what happened is the lady said to me, look, you should have hit him. Literally. She's like, so I'm doing small claims court and all this other stuff, but it's sad because literally like she literally said, you didn't hit him or we would say that it's our fault. But you didn't. You avoided it. And so because you avoided it, you caused your own accident. And I'm like, that's not like, what do you, like the cop says it, everybody have witnesses and everybody, and still even then they're like, nope, sorry, we'll see you in court. So I was like, all right.
I had that happen to me with a house, and it cost me everything I owned pretty much. Just insurance company who's been your good friend for years on your side when little things happen. Something big happens, they're like, sorry, State Farm, you guys are just a bunch of assholes.
I'm not about vigilante. I can't, what happened with the guy in, what's it, defend, depose, and deny, or deny, defend, and depose, whatever, DDD, right? That guy, I don't know what happened. I don't understand the details, what was going on mentally with his head, but it is interesting that a huge majority of America supported that guy because he did what they all were feeling. Like they were really hurt. How many people have been screwed over by insurance companies? And then it's like, whether it's medical, car, it doesn't matter, right? You just like, you're literally just sticking it to me, and then you're finding ways to use the law to circumvent paying me out when like it's obvious that you're in the wrong. This is in the wrong. And so I find that real interesting that he got so much praise by so many people, just because how many people have been screwed over by insurance companies. You pay, you're on time, you show up, you know what I'm saying? They take some of these insurance companies, right? Like I was literally paying $200 for literally liability, and I have a perfect, I switch. Anyways, it is.
Did
atrocious.
you break the pole that you hit?
Yeah.
Is the city going to send you a bill for it?
I haven't received anything. Nobody.
You got to move and cancel your address. Striking Jr., when he took my Tahoe and he turned it into a pile of junk, hit a city light pole, and it went sideways. And the cop said, "Yeah, you're going to get a bill from the city for that. So your insurance will pay for it, but you're going to get a bill for it." And they're like $50,000.
Yeah, it wasn't a pole. It was like a small little stand.
Oh, the way you described it before, I thought it was a light pole.
No, it wasn't a light pole. It was like a little stand. It was like a welcome to XYZ, and it was like two small little. But either way, it just demolished because the cars are there made of plastic. So if you're going 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour,
your airbags go?
No airbags, no nothing.
Ooh, it was an older car.
No, it was 2011.
Oh, I see. They didn't. I thought when you said no airbags, I thought you meant it didn't have airbags. I'm like, that's an old one.
No, it had an airbag, but it didn't do that much of a damage. And it's very frustrating because you'll get screwed over when you're not like the one, like unless you do wrong, I don't know. I feel like this country more supports people who, I'm going to be quiet. And let's just talk here real quick. All right. So I thought was real interesting like lately. So I just got in, like Justin Treasury Secretary Besant says, if the debt limit is not resolved, it could trigger the biggest financial crisis since 2008. So it's real interesting that I'm looking at, and this is literally what he just said. So the market is still moving up. We're watching the stock market push up, and we're seeing it kind of go. We're seeing it kind of lose some momentum as it's moving up. You can see here that volume is dropping. And so with that said, I'm expecting this to kind of falter out here, at least pull back to that 200 period, which is going to be that.
Which product you got up there, Pedro?
This is the S&P 500. And I'm saying this because of the latest statement that Besant has talked about. If we don't take care of the debt, that we're going to see a.
We talk about this all the time. They got to do it, Pedro, right?
So it's really interesting to see what's happening in Congress, right, and the Senate. Now, I know you've kind of been paying attention more to that law, and the bills has been correlated with that. What's the latest news in relationship to that?
Actually, not much. There's quite the stalled effort here. The whole dust up with Mr. Musk and Mr. Trump and the tariff quagmire, it actually has kind of helped grind things to a halt. In fact, a third bill has been introduced into Congress that seems to also have some legs. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it has to do with crypto also. And so they're going to end up with, I think, 3 bills trying to work their way through. But what we're referring to is the Stable Act and the Genius Act, both of which are coming in to govern stable coins. And one of them is very friendly to the big stablecoin companies, and one of them is the other is favorable to kind of everybody, kind of just a level playing field for everyone. And I can't remember off the top of my head which is which, but the Crypto Swamp Creatures did a whole episode about it. And so tune into our sister show, the Crypto Swamp Creatures. They don't have it's on our website, on the DYOR YouTube site, and on our Rumble site. You'll see episodes for the Swamp Creatures. Some great shows. They're only 15, 20 minutes long. And those guys, Chris Alexander and Justin Wallin, provide some great commentary.
Go check them out, guys. I think you'll like them. We've got a lot of people watching this over on Rumble. We got about 15 people, and I want to bring this up. Go check those guys out. You'll like them a lot. They really go over rails from a wonkety-wonk standpoint and really kind of self-analyzing a lot of the senators as well as House Representatives as they interact with each other. So it'll give you really good insight. And these guys are kind of know the lay of the land and understand really how Washington works, especially Mr. Wallin. He runs a poll company that goes through and analyzes statistics and then kind of gives out where the polls are sitting, and from more of a political standpoint. He was the gentleman who literally found out, or his company found out, that it was the Latino population that was actually causing Trump to win in the polls. Shockingly, right? So it's really interesting to see what's happening with the City of Angels right now, and really, like, if you can, and it's funny is I talk to a lot of my family is literally from Mexico, and I've talked to a lot of them, and many of them just said, we agree with Trump. We all had to come in. We all had to fight our way to get in here. We didn't do it, and when they did come in illegally, they obeyed the laws.
Right, because they didn't want to get shipped out.
They obeyed the laws. They went through. You couldn't go and just sign up for Social Security and like all these other benefits. Like, you had to work hard. You had to go to the fields. And if you were lucky enough to work in the back of a restaurant as a dishwasher or a prep cook, that was a big deal. And then you could get money enough, send it back home, get all your paperwork, get everything up and running.
Anyway, sorry, I thought you finished. Sorry, go ahead.
So long story short, and I say this because this is a big fighting issue with the City of Angels right now. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. But go ahead with that law you were saying.
I was just saying that I had Justin on the screen behind us here talking about, oh boy, that's an extremely bad picture of him.
discipline.
It's mass, and two, it's topic, right? So
I'm putting these on LinkedIn because I put in their shorts on LinkedIn now. But one of the things that he came to a conclusion about and why he predicted on this network that President Trump would win, predicted before anyone else, I might add, is because he did a lot of time interviewing and polling the Hispanic community. And he found out two important things that really made me go, One was that the Hispanic community was turning more conservative, especially at a younger ages, not just the old guys that are retired and or just hanging out, being taken care of by the rest of the family, like is traditionally done. But a lot of the younger people were there too, and because they found out this second thing I found really important, that the community that could vote is the community that's there legally. And the community that's there legally went through a hardship to do it legally. They went through the embassy system, or they worked the system to get married. There's all kinds of ways to do it, to get educated, to get a job, and to do all that stuff. And they are very pissed off that they had to work really hard and go to accomplish things that were extremely difficult in the world to do. And then their compatriots or their friends just walk across the border and claim they have a right to be here, and then have the government say, yeah, under the Biden administration, you can be here, we'll give you all this money and stuff. They're like, these people said, I had to work 7 jobs just to get my kid into the University of Texas at El Paso, and then the kid would commute across the border and live at home. And then they were able to get a job in the U.S. and get a visa, and then many years later, the parents could come then too. And these other people just walk across the border and get free money and hotel rooms and all that. They're like, they were very, and I'm going on too long about this, but Justin figured that out. And that's why he called the election. That was right here on our network, by the way.
What I find more interesting also is just that when you look at the idea behind what he was pointing out was that they had to grind, and the previous administration policies in regards to the border was so flamboyantly just open that the struggles of previous generations were almost hurt, not based off of the hardships, but based off of the duality and really the push for the polling. That's really what we saw this, right? Like I kept saying in that time period,
Pedro, sorry to interrupt again, but
we gotta say it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that break in which I get to earn a little bit of money. It's happened again, Pedro. Happened again.
Let's do it.
Why is it not? I think I didn't. I didn't do it in time.
Click on the draw, bro. Come on.
Hold on. Let's try it again. Ladies and gentlemen, this sponsorship is from Rumble itself. One that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. We're betting on Rumble winning, so this better work. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden-Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked in governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers that refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers only. They don't get much out of it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight, and you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the Rumble community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium or click this QR code right next to me right here. For those of you watching, please click it. We'll appreciate it. And use the promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we are just happy if you watch us on Rumble. So everybody that's watching, just click this code here.
It's actually up in the live chat area. So if you guys go, you should pop up on the live chat. Just go through, click it, hit the ad, and what happens is it populates, and it does give us.
They put it in the chat too?
Yeah, that's what I see it in the chat. I don't see it on the actual paper or on the live stream. Yeah. Yeah. So either way, it's all good.
Yeah, well, thank you to Rumble for allowing us to do that.
Thank you so much. Let's go ahead real quick and kind of add into. So Senator John Thune says crypto stablecoins help protect against threats to the U.S. national security, which I thought was really interesting. And I was wondering what he meant by that. Was he really talking about like national security as in like they screwed up and so we needed to be it helped out? I'm curious to know what he meant by that.
I think when they say those things, they're referring to the strength of the U.S. dominating the financial markets around the world. And that has certainly helped out our country dramatically. Dominating the world's trade with U.S. dollars has made the U.S. the hegemon of the world. People say we've lost jobs all over the place, blah, blah, blah. We're still, per capita, the richest company in the country or in the world. That
richest country in the world, yeah.
Yeah, and that argument though, per capita. I mean, there's plenty of other countries. People are poorer, but the government provides so much more service and other type of stuff. So it's a little difficult. But by making the dollar the hegemon of the world, it's kept the U.S. involved in everyone else's business, and that's good for us because we make a lot of money doing it and we dominate trade. But it pisses off the rest of the world because ultimately politicians get in the way. If the U.S. dollar had stayed separate from politics and just been the Fed doing its thing and Wall Street doing its thing, everybody would have loved the U.S. But as soon as they started getting into sanctions and starting using the dollar as a hammer, that's when people started hating us. Turn that around onto what Senator Thune was talking about with crypto. It's important that the U.S. lead crypto and not let other organizations, especially in Asia, or other countries, especially ones in Asia, lead on that. Can they be big players in it? Of course, and they will be. But should they lead on that? No, we need to lead on the innovation in it. We need to make sure that we're the center of crypto. And I'm saying this from Canada, where I am now. And Canada's trying to be a leader, but they're mirrored in politics right now. But the U.S., from the government point of view and the industry point of view, does need to lead it. Otherwise, small countries like the UAE will lead it.
Small country like the UAE.
Right. I mean, the country is only as big as my living room here. They're putting in a high-speed train, and the guys are like, wait a minute, it's going to be the best high-speed train ever? The ride's like 10 minutes. It's like, okay, we're at the other side of the country. It's like, Disneyland. Literally. It's a beautiful place, but it's, it's small, and it's a very, very wealthy country and all that. But that's not the point. The point is that for the United States to stay strong in the world's economy, if Michael Saylor is correct in that Bitcoin is going to ultimately become the settlement layer for international trade, and corporate and sovereign debt's going to trade above that, and equities are going to trade above that, and everything ultimately will settle down to Bitcoin, like things ultimately settle down to gold in the past, then the U.S. needs to make sure we're in charge of that. So when they say national security, the U.S. government uses that term in many ways. Two important ones: terrorism, national security, blah blah blah, terrorism, blah yeah. And then two, monetarily and economic, because the economic damage to our country is arguably just as bad as the terrorists' attacks, because the same results happen. Obviously, I'm not speaking down on people that died of terrorist attacks. What I'm saying is the after effect. In terrorist attacks, we end up spending billions on war. In economic downfalls, we spend the same amount of money in social programs because people are without jobs. So national security is important to us from a crypto point of view because of that.
I think you nailed something that was really important to understand as well, is that the idea behind what we're doing is I hate to use the word, what's that called? Like a draconian way of doing things. But look, there's going to be a bully on the playground regardless. It just depends on what type of bully you want, right? And so this is the hardship of this, is that do you want a bully that prioritizes the group right, potentially the rulers, i.e. The Eastern thought processy, or do you want to have a group that prioritizes the small guy first, and the small guy can have a voice? Right.
True.
And so it's really a battle of ideology here of who do you want ruling the playground. And so this is where we're balancing. And again, we've talked about here the injustices here in America that I don't like regarding like insurance companies and how it's just almost like an uphill battle. But if I was in other parts of the world where it was led by insurance companies, like the people who are at Evergrande, they're not getting their money back. You know, the people at something Garden, Evergrande and something Garden. I forget that, but it's another organization in the over across the border or over in China. They, you know, there's you don't have a right. You know, if you're a small issue, it's only when it really starts to affect large amounts of people. Whereas here, we have lawyers. We can fight against things and be brought up. I can go to the state attorney general as an individual and saying, look, this company is doing wrong. It's absolutely
right.
Atrocious. And all of a sudden the attorney general goes, all right, let's go check into it because of an individual right. So this is where you're going to have to fight. Like how do we want to really connect? And so for me, I'm predominantly more of the American view that I think we should be the one in charge there because of that. And a large portion, I mean, recently we just saw, again, this is along the same line, but again, we're bringing up another news source, the situation going on with China and Europe, right? Like Europe just gave the finger to China and said, dude, we're not doing business with you.
You're too... Don't get me started on this.
No. Well, it's been in the news because this is...
No, I said, I read the article. I was like, finally!
Yes.
And it exposed the flaw in the president's, I shouldn't say his plan, but in his planning.
Yeah.
What he should have done is gone to the EU and the important countries over there and say, this is going to be my plan, and I'm going to do it. Yeah. Now, it would be better if you were on board with us. And if the US and Europe spoke as one voice and said, all right, our companies need to be able to invest in China without the same way you get invest in the US. Absolutely 100% fair playing field. No more. China is still in the World Trade Organization listed as a developing economy, if you can believe that.
Which is
BS. And with the U.S. and the Europe together as one, just saying take it or leave it. You know, and not only that, they could have done it quietly behind the scenes, and because that's how China prefers doing things, to have more diplomatic speak. They could have settled it. They could have gotten it. You know. Everything taken care of and probably gotten everything they wanted, or at least 90% because it's a negotiation. And then they could have the EU could have just said, Mr. Trump, you just announced it. You love that shit. And he could claim victory and the US would be like, good job, Mr. Trump. You led the world.
But they weren't willing to give up an inch. They were like, no, we want it our way or it's the highway.
And it took till now. Well, one of the problems is that and I'm getting this information from my friends that live in Europe. And those of you watching us, do feel free to chime in. Is that the European government feels entitled because they're like half of the government is not elected. You know, the EU, half of it is the European Commission, and they're essentially bureaucrats that run everything, and they have their policies. And like the the bureaucrats in the U.S. government, they tend to be more liberal. They want their way of doing things, and everyone else doesn't count. And the European Parliament tends to follow the more liberal aspect and green and woke things, because none of the actual legislators in the individual countries want to do that job. So they send younger, inexperienced people there. And this is other people telling me this. It's not my surmising. And so the Parliament gets these wacky ideas and rubber stamps them. And just drives it. Some good things. They have good things, like their whole GDPR Data Protection Act. I like that stuff. Companies should not be able to have the full right to sell your information and do whatever they want. Good stuff. But then they have other things, like they made all cars have low hoods on it. So you had, if a car hits you at 70 miles an hour, you had a better chance of living. All right, car hits you at 70 miles an hour. Bad.
It's a bad day. It's a bad day.
So anyway, convincing the fact that they've made some sort of turn and are now siding with us on the business with China is a big deal. Oh no! Breaking news. Brian Wilson has died from the Beach Boys. Which is horrible, but the fact that he's still alive. It's been 50 years. For 50 years, he's been on the... People are like, he ain't going to be around much longer. And then they announce another tour, and Brian's out there playing the piano and just kind of harumping on the microphone because he's had a number of drug-induced strokes or whatever the reason was. Yeah, I grew up listening to the Endless Summer record on 78 on the 33 RPM. I cannot drive by a Wendy's restaurant without singing the song Wendy from the Beach Boys. Wendy, Wendy, what went wrong? Oh, so wrong. We were together. Literally can't drive by Wendy's.
Dude, I remember many a Friday and Saturday nights cruising. And on one of my foster father's cars, where we would go down McHenry Avenue, going up and down, cruising, man, listening to Beach Boys and oldies, man. Shout out to Brian, maybe resting in peace somewhere awesome.
She's real fine, my 409. She's real fine, my 409.
Yeah, it was good times. On a side note, again, for more news, I thought was really interesting. We're going to first go into some stuff here about bonds, and then I want to talk about some situations that are happening.
Hold on, it's 2:00. I've got about probably 10 minutes before Mrs. Striking comes in, and we've got a call that we've got to do for real work. So we're not. I shouldn't say real work. This is real, but
we do need to talk about this real quick, and then we'll. So just giving you a heads up, because I've been layering stuff in while we're talking. You can see here on the 10-year, we're watching the 10-year kind of consolidate right here. And so we've talked about this. Like I said, I do expect the bond on the 10-year to go up into these higher levels, which we've talked about. You can see here, come on, the 30-year. Don't be a douche. Come on now.
Don't be a douche. That's probably... Oh, yeah. I was going to say, that's probably a Beach Boy song, but that's the Little Deuce Coupe.
Deuce Coupe.
Little Deuce Coupe. You don't know what I got.
We're going to focus, Daniel. All right. So you can see here that we're on the 30-year. Again, we're starting to show. We saw it kind of come down. We saw it push back up. Volume support. We're pushing through all the moving averages, which we talk about, kind of that ping ponging, boom, boom, boom. And I do expect us, like I talked about, that 130, 128 area here to push back up. Now, it's important to be watching this because of the latest news that was actually coming on with Bassett potentially going over to the Fed and becoming the new Fed chair. And so it's going to be really interesting with his statement in relationship to what we talked about. Right, Trump's been saying you need to drop the interest rate. He just mentioned it today again. You need to drop the interest rate a full point down, which then will push up the actual bonds even higher. And so this is why I'm expecting to see a movement up here. If Bessent gets put into the role of what we're seeing with the Federal Reserve, it's going to be a bullish. I think it'll be very bullish for Trump, and I'm pretty positive we're going. And I think a lot of things that he echoes is coming from his strategic advisors i.e. Besant as well as Lutnick going over these certain things. So if he does get put in and we see a retirement within what happens with, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name?
Jerome Powell.
This is going to be really interesting to sit there and see what's happening here. So be ready. We're paying attention to it. We're seeing the dollar again sell off even further, which has been really interesting. We talked about it needs to get down back into that 97, 95 area. And then correlating with this, we're actually watching crude oil shoot up. So crude oil has been shooting up here, coming back up into our 67 area. We try to touch back down in this lower level. I thought we were going to come back down and play, but right now we're staying in between that 67 to 55 area. I thought we'd come down because I said for America, this area right here is really good, hurts the rest of the world, but it's good for America. The fact that we are selling and putting more of our crude oil in is still good because we're getting a higher price for the crude oil that we're selling. So little things like this are actually helping us out from a economic standpoint. Really, it's going to be really interesting. What do you think in the last few minutes here that we have? What are your thoughts on Besant potentially becoming the new Fed chair?
I think that would be very impressive. I think it would be a very impressive move for two reasons off the top of my head. Besant has proven to be a reasonable person at Treasury from the fact that he is very transparent, whereas Janet Yellen was like, everything's fine, everything's great, while the dumpster's on fire behind her. And Besant's like, no, we've got these problems. And when Doge came over to the U.S. Treasury, Besant was like, what problems did you find? Like, he's like, we don't even put a reason why on the money we spend, so nobody can track it. And he was very transparent about that, which was refreshing. Obviously, you can tell Besant is pandering to Mr. Trump a lot in the way he speaks, but we get that. Everyone does that. But Besant has an impressive background in education, the people he's worked for. Now he's worked in the government and going to a quasi-governmental organization like the Fed. I think that would allow him to really... What's that? Quasi-government? The Fed. Well, it's not really the government, but it's set up by the government.
It's not. It's a private organization.
I know it is a private organization, but it's not. It's like a Crown Corp here in Canada. It's a private organization, but it was chartered by the government, and the government appoints its members and things like that. So they're not. I mean, they're sort of private. I mean, if someone was to be promoted, nobody can get the top job unless they're appointed by the president. So, I mean,
I agreed, but all right. So we'll leave that alone. But because I have issue with that, and there's certain mechanisms that correlate there that it's very private. We won't go. Keep going. I want to hear your view. Go ahead.
Anyway, but he would.
While Tom is muting that. He
would be very good for the Federal Reserve because he's a number cruncher guy, and he is able to look at. And I've never interviewed him, but I'd love to. But I've heard from other people that said he distilled all the data that they needed to very quickly and put the picture together, what they were trying to talk about. And the Fed is full of numbers people, full of tons and tons and tons of them. And we got to get going.
So you said we had 10 minutes, so that's why I was sitting there saying. So we'll talk. I want to talk about this a little bit more at length. I almost want to go over the idea of the Fed, how it actually gets paid.
Well, we can do a special episode about that, and
in detail, because
perhaps get a guest that's somewhat related to the Fed and can speak along those lines too.
Here's the thing: just because you're special, like the head of the Fed during the Biden administration, or excuse me, not the Fed, but the Treasury, didn't even understand how the Fed worked. Like he couldn't even communicate. He literally said, "I don't actually even fully understand the Fed." He was the Treasury under Biden's administration, the head of the Treasury. So obviously, Besant is much more versed and understands things. I mean, the man literally had a hedge fund that was one of the top hedge funds in the world for decades,
right?
Along with Besant, right, or along with Lutnick. So Trump has got good people there who actually have a good grasp of it.
All right, 30 seconds.
Great. It's great to look at that. Anyways, Mrs. Striking is over, and she's calling Mr. Striking.
She is, ladies and gentlemen, but that's not the point. The point is that's the time for our show to end. Pedro and I obviously could talk about these topics forever. And we will. We'll do a whole show, Pedro, on the Fed and how that works. I think it'll make a good, what they call it, greenfield content for our YouTube channel, stuff that is good all the time. And so we'll work on that, put that together, to have a whole episode about it and try and get a guest for that. Anyway, thanks to everybody. Our condolences out to the Wilson family. You guys, the music you guys have put out over the time, I mean, literally, like I said, I can't drive by Wendy's without singing one of the Beach Boys songs. Brian Wilson, thank you very much for your contribution to music and to our culture as Americans. On that note, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time, so be there. All right, Pedro. I got to roll. I will. Okay. All right. Later. We started late.